David Brewster here with another 3 for All, and this is 3 John Sykes Licks from 1989. And most people know John Sykes as the guitarist that played on Whitesnake's, self-titled album, Still of the Night, Here I Go Again, and Bad Boys and Children of the Night and all those songs. And he definitely played on that album. But then there's some confusion about what other albums and groups he played with. And just to kind of give you like an overview, he did play with a group called Tigers of Pan Tang way back in the day. They had albums like Spellbound and Crazy Nights. And then he also appeared on Thin Lizzy's last, studio album, Thunder and Lightning. And he worked with Phil Lynott, and toured and stuff like that. But then obviously a lot of people know him from, the self-titled Whitesnake album. And I know when I first heard that album, I just assumed it was Vivian Campbell and Adrian Vandenberg because they were in the music videos and they were in magazines and stuff, posing with guitars or whatever, labeled, Whitesnake. It was John Sykes. And I was confused and I thought, well, why is he not in Whitesnake? What happened? And then I went back and checked out Slide It In and I bought that thinking, hey, is John Sykes on this too? And he did record, he kind of beefed up some of the rhythm tracks on that album, but he didn't really play on Slide It In. He basically, he toured, I think, in '85 with Whitesnake, but he didn't play on the album, other than just kind of beefing up, some rhythm tracks. So he did the Whitesnake album, and then he was fired along with the rest of the band, and David Coverdale, hired a whole new group. And Coverdale kind of has a history of doing that, because that's basically what he did after Slide It In. He fired the band and hired John Sykes. They recorded the Whitesnake album and he did it again and he fired the whole band. So then he basically left that group after he was, canned, and he started Blue Murder. And in 1989, the group Blue Murder released their debut album. And if you haven't heard the Blue album, if you haven't heard the Blue Murder album from '89, it's killer. It will blow you away. It's almost forgotten. A lot of the diehard fans know it, but you really don't hear. I mean, you might hear Jelly Roll, like maybe on the radio or something. But it's a great, great album. Highly recommend it. And as far as the Whitesnake album is concerned, I did actually read a few interviews with John Sykes, and I saw some quotes and different things, and then I realized he was kind of bitter, after he was fired, which I can understand. And that album was so successful, and he didn't get to tour, he didn't get to perform, those songs live with Whitesnake, but he did end up, performing a lot of those songs live with Blue Murder, on solo tours and stuff like that. And I saw some clips of him playing Bad Boys, I think it was back in like '04. And it was so cool, to see him play it and he's singing, and just kicking ass. And I thought, man, what a phenomenal guitarist. And there's also a clip of them on the Yahoo Serious show, which I didn't even remember Yahoo Serious had a show. So that had to have been late '80s, early '90s, probably MTV, probably a very short-lived talk show. But Blue Murder was on there. They played Jelly Roll, and it's acoustic. And Carmen Appice is on his kit. Tony Franklin's playing bass. And then John Sykes has an acoustic, and he's singing. And he plays acoustic the whole time. So they don't really do the rockin', outro. But if you find that clip on YouTube, it will blow you away. It's live. John is singing his butt off. He's playing. They sound great. And when I watched that, I thought, wow, they just killed it. What we're going to do in this lesson, I actually found a bootleg concert from Blue Murder in 1989 in Tokyo, Japan. And I just kind of took some choice licks and some phrases that he played during that concert. And, once again, I highly recommend run out and listen to that Blue Murder album. It'll blow you away. Billy, Ptolemy, Valley of the Kings, Riot. There's a whole bunch of songs on there that are great. The first lick is this E9 arpeggio idea, and he kind of slides, slowly slides into the first note and then just kind of creeps through it. There's a little shift slide on the G string there, which is targeting the ninth, and then you're also going to target it again there on the high E string, which is that F sharp. But it looks and sounds like this. And you can see we're just slowly sliding into that E. I really like the way it's phrased. You know, it's an arpeggio, but there's some other things happening in there too. There's one more thing too at the end on that final note. You know, John really loves this, you know, kind of sustained wide vibrato on notes, and it's very, you know, vocal and kind of lyrical in a way. You know, where he'll just hang on a note like that. You know, really cool. All right, the next lick is this Aeolian or natural minor scale run, but he's using unisons, and it creates like this blurry, you know, kind of dizzy sound. I love unisons too. And you can see right there, we're basically stretching up on the G, and then we're grabbing, you know, B there on the 16th fret on the G, and then we're going to double that on the 12th fret on the B string. So there's your unison, right? And he's really just kind of grabbing that E up there on the 17th fret, and then he's kind of blurring, you know, the note, or it's kind of, you know, playing with your ear. And then he starts descending through the scale. And then he does this little kind of sidestepping thing at the end, which is really cool. Alright, the next lick is this minor pentatonic kind of speed lick, and it's you know, kind of a stretch pentatonic idea too, because he's going to reach up and grab that A on the 17th fret. And he's really well known for doing this. You can hear him do, you know, fast trills. Sometimes he'll start doing these crazy, you know, tap licks where he actually taps with his pick, and you can see him doing that like in the Live in Rio, you know, footage from '85. But this lick, he's doing a really common kind of bending lick at first, and then he starts doing a little speed run. Looks like this. And there you can see we're basically doing the pentatonic lick. And then he does a quick change right there between, you know, A and G on the high E string. Right? Here's a bonus lick from this solo, and this was actually played when they did Out of Love on that Tokyo, Japan, you know, concert that I found. And I really like the guitar solo in this song. There's a lot of melodic ideas, and he's doing this really cool like arpeggio mutation in this lick. And it starts off with like C sharp minor, and then he slides into B major, and then he kind of goes back to C sharp minor, and then he shifts into A major. And to kind of hear him, you know, mix and match or cut and paste in these arpeggios, it just sounds so good. And I love that mix and match, you know, between those arpeggios, because there's your C sharp minor, and then right there you're going to shift into, you know, B major, and then there's the sus4, that E note, and then right there you're going to slide into A major, and then that's the sharp 4, so you're kind of implying Lydian a little bit right there with that D sharp. And then he basically hikes up a little bit higher, and then targets that C sharp, you know, way up there by bending, you know, the 19th fret. Alright, that's going to wrap this look at 3 licks from John Sykes. And of course, you know, I'm a big fan, and I love his playing style. You know, it's very melodic. There's a lot of feel, a lot of expression. You know, wide vibrato, wide bending, tremolo picking, double picking, you know, pick tapping, crazy, you know, scale runs, and you know, tremolo pick licks, and there's a ton of stuff. Not to mention his rhythm work, you know, riffs and chord progressions and really cool things, you know, going on in his music. So definitely I'm a big John Sykes fan, you know, badass guitar player. Um, anyway, leave some feedback and some comments, and I'll be back really soon with some more material. And please subscribe to Late Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know it. Thank you.